Toons gets them every time. Good afternoon, everybody. It's me, the media guy, back with another one of my fantastic movie reviews. And today, if you couldn't tell by the title and thumbnail, and my bad Eddie Valiant impression, I'm going to be covering a movie I haven't seen in a very long time. And I do mean a very long time. Called Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yes, before any of the Space Jam movies, Looney Tunes Back in Action, Cool World, or Evil Tunes, or Cartoon Network producing Reanimated and its sequel series Out of Jimmy's Head, we got Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Now, if any of you guys are like big Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis fans, I assume you might have seen like dozens and countless of videos on YouTube where a lot of people have talked about this movie. Minty Comedic Arts, Black Nerd Comedy, Electric Dragon 505, Nostalgia Critic, you name it. There's probably like countless videos of this movie on YouTube. But just in case you guys don't know anything about this movie, which I don't blame you, here's the description on the back of the VHS tape. And it's 1947 Hollywood, and Eddie Valiant, played by the late Bob Hoskins, a down on his luck detective, is hired to find proof that Marvin Acme, Gag Factory Mongol, and owner of Toontown, is playing hanky-panky with a feminine fatale Jessica Rabbit, which is her. Wife of maroon cartoon superstar Roger Rabbit. This guy right here. When Acme is found murdered, all the fingers point to Roger, and all the sinister, power-hungry Judge Doom, played by the fantastic Christopher Lloyd, is on a mission to bring Roger to justice. Roger begs the Toon-Hating Valiant to find the real evildoer, and the plot thickens as Eddie uncovers scandal after scandal and realizes the very existence of Toontown is at stake. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is deliciously outrageous fun the whole family can enjoy. And it even includes a little bonus cartoon, Tummy Trouble. Man, I gotta admit, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. So after watching it again for the very first time, well, not counting various clips on YouTube or people talking about it, holy dang, this movie is downright hilarious. Okay, think of Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, Screwy Squirrel, and every film noir movie of the 30s, 40s, and 50s mixed into a blender, and out comes Who Framed Roger Rabbit? One of the most fantastic, hilarious, live-action animated comedy detective adventures ever. And while I have nothing against the first and second Space Jam movies or Looney Tunes Back in Action, since I still have a soft spot for those movies, this movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, is fantastic! This movie has great writing, great hilarious moments, a great story with a beginning, middle, and a fantastic soundtrack, which I highly recommend you guys checking it out. And the animation is Wow, spot on perfectly for 1988 standards. I mean, I know that like dozens of people on YouTube might have talked about this already, but still. So basically, in a nutshell, after the death of Eddie's brother Theodore, aka Teddy Valiant, he's more of a down on the luck detective who wants nothing to do with tunes until Roger is somehow framed for murder. And it'll be up to Eddie Valiant to clear his name in a nutshell. This movie does have a handful of suspects. R.K. Maroon of Maroon Cartoon Studios, Rogers Rice, Jessica Rabbit, which by the way, what a Sheila Fox of a gal. Yeah, I know that she's already called dibs. And Rogers' co-star Baby Herman. This movie does have like 3 suspects. But this movie is mostly famous for its wide variety of various cartoon characters, mainly the recognizable ones making appearances. Looney Tunes, various Disney characters like Mickey Mouse and his friends, the 3 Caballeros, Bambi, you name it, Dumbo, Betty Boop and her friends, Woody Woodpecker, and more. Yeah, I guess you guys probably wanted me to point out how there's like so many recognizable cartoon characters. They do have to make great funny cameos in the movie. And I can name all of them right now, but this review will be way too long as it already is. Now, if you saw anyone talk about this movie before, these are like some interesting facts. This movie is actually based on a graphic novel called Who Censored Roger Rabbit, where Roger Rabbit actually dies a little bit early on in the book, and is up to Eddie Valiant to team up with Roger's double to solve the murder of the real Roger Rabbit before it's too late. Because in the group book, I think Jessica Rabbit and Baby Herman were gonna be like villains in the book, along with a blue genie. Yeah, you can obviously tell that the book is like fast. Sorry, I burped. Sorry, I guess I burped. What I was trying to say is that the book is vastly different from the movie version. Because Judge Doom was made up just for the movie. It is quite interesting how the behind the scenes of this movie is quite fascinating. And there were other characters that were meant to show up in the movie as cameos, but I guess there were some rights issues like Betty Lou, Tom and Jerry, Superman, and the cast of Popeye, for example, which is kind of a pity. Because it probably would have been cool to see those other characters, someone make an appearance in the movie. Oh, sorry, I guess it must have stopped for a little. The timer must have stopped. What I was trying to explain is that I guess you guys might have noticed that I was trying to explain how there were other characters appearing in the movie, like Superman, Popeye, Tom and Jerry, and Betty Lou, but let's just say there might have been some rights issues. It's kind of a missed opportunity, to be honest. Not sure what type of purpose, though, they would have, but hey. Whatever floats our boat. But I'm thankful for what we got. Man, I honestly cracked up from time to time. Trust me, if you guys have seen this movie before, you pretty much know what I mean. I am familiar with Bob Hoskins, since not only that he was in this movie, but he was also in the Super Mario Brothers live-action movie, and Son of the Mask, for example. And those are like the only movies I know him from. I'm not sure if he was in like any other movies before and after working on Roger Rabbit, Son of the Mask, and the live-action Mario Brothers movie. You can honestly tell that the animators really did their best to make sure it looks fantastic. Mainly for the animation styles of Roger, Baby Herman, Benny the Cat, and Jessica Rabbit, for example. And yeah, I will admit, Jessica Rabbit does look, well, pretty sexy. I mean, yeah, I know she's just a fictional character from a cartoon, but still. She's voiced by the legendary Kathleen Turner. I'm not sure if she's still around now or working on other movies and TV shows right now as we speak. And I'm not gonna admit, Roger really does steal the show in this movie. I mean, whenever he's on screen, I always end up cracking up at all the wacky shenanigans he keeps putting himself through. Or would it be fair for me to bring up the villain, Judge Doom, played by the legendary Christopher Lloyd. Yep, the same Christopher Lloyd who was in Back to the Future, which I assume that's what he's mostly famous for. In fact, if you guys have ever met Christopher Lloyd at a comic book convention at some point, whether it's New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, Galaxy Con, whatever, I'm sure most of you might have asked him what it was like to work on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, or at least if he remembered working on the movie. Who knows, but I'm sure he could tell you in his own words that he had quite a fun experience with this movie, which I don't blame him. And yeah, whenever you think of the name Christopher Lloyd, you probably think of his role as Doc Brown from the Back to the Future movies, which I assume that's what he's mostly famous for. Playing Doc Brown. Great Scott, buddy! I'm gonna show you Back to the Future! Yeah, that's like one of his most famous movie roles. Him being a part of all three Back to the Future movies. Which, to be fair, I wouldn't blame him. Now, to be fair, even though Roger Rabbit is still a great movie, as well as spawning 3 different animated short films, and having a Toontown attraction in Disneyland, for some reason he's not remembered that much. I mean, the closest we ever get to him making a comeback is in the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie that was shown on Disney Plus a few years ago. Yeah, nearly 4 years ago. Which I'm actually glad that Roger Rabbit somewhat made a comeback again. Just as a small cameo. Wait, is Roger Rabbit still a meet and greet character in Disneyland? I'm not sure because I've never been to Disneyland myself. I just went to Disney World twice with my parents, and Universal Orlando, Florida with my mom for the first time. So, you guys might want to let me know in the comments below if Roger Rabbit is still a meet and greet character in all the Disney theme parks, mainly Disneyland. Because I could be wrong. Again, every single actor and actress in this movie, including the voiceover actors, did a phenomenal job with this movie. So I'm guessing Roger Rabbit having 3 animated short films, and him appearing in the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie were like the closest we ever get to a couple of Roger Rabbit sequels. Misha, maybe to you guys that's not the case, but I'm just taking a wild guess here. I'm just taking a wild guess. And just on a side note, I do like the Doomly Pianos gag with Donald Duck and Daffy Duck. I mean, that always get a little chuckle out of me. Seeing Daffy and Donald play the Hungarian Rhapsody on the pianos while dealing with their own wacky shenanigans. As well as Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse going skydiving. For example, when Eddie's falling to his cartoony doom. You guys should watch the movie for yourself to know what I mean. So anyways, thank you guys so much for checking out this review of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And if you guys want to check out everyone's thoughts on this movie, as well as doing some background information on the movie, I'll leave a link to Nostalgia Critic, Minted Comedic Arts, and Happy Dragons Productions on their videos of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as well as Dave Lee Down Under pointing out Roger Rabbit making a cameo in the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie, and Val Ski Bum mentioning Bugs and Mickey's cameo in the movie in the links down below in the description. And I'll give this movie 5 rabbit heads out of 5.